I have a growing interest in how things are connected. In an infinite, intricate layers of complexity that we will never fully understand, everything is connected, and bringing one thing out of harmony or balance has drastic effects on something seemingly disconnected from that thing. One example of this from just a human interaction with its environment standpoint is when in the northern United States there was a bear, what people perceived as a bear problem, and these bears were causing damage, and they were damaging trees, and people thought we need to do something about this. So they did. There's a plane overhead, so I apologize. So they did, and they killed off a lot of the bear population. And what they found was that their crops were dying, and they did not understand what was happening. Years later, they figured it out. And what these bears were doing is when they were damaging the trees, they were leaving these giant gnashes and claw marks. And out of those wounds of the tree was sap. Sap would leak out, and these bees would come over and drink the sap. Now, this sap had antimicrobial, it had antiviral, antifungal properties, and it actually was supporting the bees' immune system. So without this nutrient that the bees were getting, they were developing these diseases, some kind of single wing or weak wing disease, and viruses and bacterias. And anyways, it was killing off the bee population. And of course, without bees, they say, the amount of food, the variety of food, and our supply of food would be cut in half as humans. And then eventually the effects would be more detrimental after that, but the almost immediate effects would be very substantial. And so they put this connection way later after this happened, but they didn't understand why it was happening. So that was a very interesting way, an example of how things are connected in seemingly disconnected ways, right? Like, that seems so abstract. Or the variety of food you can eat from is affected by killing bears, but in reality, everything is connected in some kind of way. And you might see the dramatic immediate effects, or it might take years to see the toll that upsetting the balance of nature has. Just think about it right now. Like, I recorded a video I felt like recording. I upload it to the internet, which countless people have a part in maintaining and inventing, and the protocols and all that. And you clicked on this video from an algorithm that was also developed by countless nameless people, right? That is constantly improving. You're watching it, and the effect that this video has, if it has any effect, there's a good chance you might just go on about your day and never think about it again, which is totally fine. Like I said in a previous video, I make these videos more for myself, in my thoughts, to project my thoughts, and if it helps people, which I hope, that's great. But if it has an effect, then this video in a way is connected to you, the viewer. And we're all connected by the way we interact with each other, with how we raise our children, because our children will interact with other people in similar ways, or have our same hang-ups, which will cause issues. There's a balance and a harmony to all things. And there's different levels of this from your point of view. So our biology, we're made up, they say only 1 or 2%, one out of every 10 cells can you actually say are human cells that have human DNA that you can pinpoint. Everything else is bacteria mostly. So 90% of our body isn't even what we would consider us. It's just colonies of bacteria that decided, or are connected to each other. And they keep their own balance, and they have their own wars, and they have their own friendships and roles and jobs and duties, and they all connect to systems that create organs and muscles, and those organs and muscles all communicate with each other via the brain and electrical signals, but they're all connected into a bigger system known as the human. And now bring that out even further. As a community, us humans are connected to each other, right? And we're developing a brain and a control system outside of ourselves with the internet, with AI. We're building an external brain and community that we might not ever fully understand, much like the cells in our body probably don't fully understand their intrinsic value in maintaining us. Without them, we wouldn't be there, and without us, this bigger system that we're creating wouldn't be there. As small or as big as you go, all these things, all these organisms with their just intrinsic value are supporting each other and connected. It's just amazing when you sit back and you can watch it and see it. And know that there's a lot that can be learned, and there's a lot that you'll never fully understand, but just know that there's a deep connection between everything. And I know thinking of things as separate is dualism, but it's a useful tool, understanding the connectedness of all these separate things to understand non-dualism, if you want to bring it to a Buddhism or Taoism or Zen, Hinduism standpoint. What these religions are saying is that you can reach non-dualism through dualism, through an understanding of dualism. And a deep understanding of dualism brings one to realize how everything is actually connected and one. Without any single one thing, the whole system would fall apart to an individual level. The universe wouldn't exist without you sitting here right now watching this video, in a way. If you are inspired to learn more about this, as I am, I'm constantly trying to learn about these little connections, and a lot of these explanations come from Eastern philosophy, Eastern ways of thinking about things. I do recommend, I do recommend some books that could help put the pieces together and help you on your own journey to understanding. That I think is helping my understanding, and that is, of course, the Tao Te Ching, Zhuangzi, the Essential Writings, and I got a book in my backpack I'm actually reading today. It is called 365 Tao, and it's written by an author known that goes by Ding Ming Dao, and that's his real name. So talk about a spiritual calling if part of your name is Tao, right? Here's the Zhuangzi book I was talking about, and I believe it's probably backwards because I have this on selfie mode so I can make sure I'm in frame. When you're reading, it's very useful to journal these things at night, just whatever thoughts. I like putting in the beginning of a journal that I start like a gratitude, kind of like the people in my life and the things in my life that have helped me come to a point where I know I need to learn more about these things. But I will dive more into this topic later. I know I'm kind of on a tangent now, but the connectedness and interconnectedness of things we may not ever fully understand, even with as advanced as AI or our outside built intelligence might get, there's going to be levels of intricacy that can only be explained by self-experience and diving within, because within we can understand everything outside. With that, I love you guys. See you next video.